first loss happened on October 14th, 2010. My husband and I walked into our OB office, 37 weeks pregnant, to check on our son Tiberius. Never in a million years did we think we would be leaving the hospital without him, because at 37 weeks he had no heartbeat. We ended up having to deliver him. I labored for 12 beautiful hours. And on October 15th, 2010, at 5:47 a.m., weighing 4 pounds and 7 ounces, our first son, Tiberius Stephen, was born, stillborn. The feelings were of complete and utter shock. Here I was in the first world country in the 20th century, and I had just had my son pass away, my baby. No one told me babies die, so I felt very embarrassed. I felt shameful. I felt guilt and just shock and horror. Our second loss kind of was a roller coaster of a loss. 11 weeks after we buried Ty, we found out we were expecting again. The pregnancy, the first 18 weeks went pretty well. We started to feel a little bit excited, although we were still very cautious. We lost Ty at 37 weeks, so we knew we had to get over that hump. But at our 18-week ultrasound, when we went in to find out if we were having a little boy or a little girl, we instead found out that Jacob, our second son, had a fatal diagnosis. We chose to carry him anyways, give him every fighting possible chance. Our thoughts and feelings were of anger. There was a lot of anger, frustration. We didn't know what was going to happen. He became a medical mystery, and his diagnosis changed throughout the last 18 weeks. So we really didn't know. We remained hopeful that things would change, although we were still grieving a loss in a sense, because we knew what was coming. And on September 5th, 2011, Jacob was born at 11 to 19 a.m., weighing 5 pounds, 10 ounces. He did pretty well the first day, but the second day he started to decline. And on September 7th, 2011, at 7:45 p.m., the doctors told us that they couldn't do anything else, and we had to make the choice to pull him off life support, and he passed away peacefully. After Jacob passed away, it was very difficult. There was incredible anger at everything. There was frustration, there was guilt, there was a shock that he actually did pass away, even though we kind of knew he would. We grieved, again, the loss of our son. Within 11 months, we buried our first 2 children, Ty and Jacob, and it just didn't seem like life was really worth it. But we had a choice. We could either let our grief define us and live with that and live in ruin the rest of our lives for however long that may be, or we could try to move on or live on in memory of our boys. We decided to live on and change our lives for the better, to do things in memory of them and to better ourselves, to better our lives, and to go from there. We started small. We just started doing what was daily basics in our life. We would get up, shower every morning, make sure we were eating. A big thing for me was making sure I got outside for a walk every single day, no matter what kind of mood I was in, no matter what the weather was like, unless it was really hot or a blizzard. We just had to keep living. Even though we weren't fully awake in living, we just knew we had to keep living and moving on, moving forward, doing things in memory of the boys, making goals, making plans, resetting our life back to a ground, like just the basics, so we could live on and figure out where our life was going. I think our reentry process for us worked really well. We did what was best for us. We took the time we needed, not what everyone else was telling us. We sought out various counseling opportunities, spoke with various people, different organizations, and we took our time, even though the rest of the world seemed to think that we should be hurried along. It wasn't working for us, so we made sure to take the time for ourselves. I don't know what kind of loss people who might be watching this have gone through, but whatever the loss they may be experiencing, they're not alone. I felt very alone at first when the boys died, but through various networks I realized that this happens to millions of people every day. There's a lot of people out there, and my best advice would be to get in touch with them. I think the most healing thing for us was to talk to other people who had been through what we had been through, and to see where they were today, and just take your time. Whether you're being pressured by work or family or friends, you have to take your time. You have to do what's best for you. Everyone grieves differently. No grief is the same, so no one's going to know what the best plan is for you other than you. You can get in touch with people who've been through your situation, and they can be a huge help, and I think that would be the best advice. Just do what's best for you, but know you probably will have to reach out to others. They won't come to you, which is tough and exhausting, but it's the best therapy. It's what worked best for us.